You never heard the way I prayed for one more word for you to stay. I whispered hope in empty rooms, still held on tight along with truth. You smiled like nothing broke inside while I was drowning in goodbyes. I loved you in the silence when no one saw the tears I cried. Loved you in the quiet where all the pain was hard to hide. While you were busy letting go, I stayed behind with all I know, that I loved you in the silence. Your laughter echoed down the hall. I used to think I had it all, but love can't bloom in shade and fear. You stopped holding what I held dear. You left me with 1,000 nights of almost babies and not quite. I loved you in the silence when no one saw the tears I cried. I loved you in the quiet where all the pain was hard to hide. While you were busy letting go, I stayed behind with all I know, that I loved you in the silence. One day you'll turn and search for me in songs I wrote you silently, but I'll be gone with all the rain, learning how to feel again. I loved you in the silence, but silence never set me free. I loved you in defiance of all the ways you let me bleed. Now I am done with waiting slow for someone who won't ever know that I loved you in the silence. Now I'm learning how to speak without you next to me. You held me close, but never tight. Your arms were warm, your heart was ice. I traced the words you didn't say. You loved me wrong and walked away. I gave you all my honest light, but you just faded out of sight. You forgot to love me somewhere between the lies and truth. You forgot to need me like I was never a part of you. Now I'm standing in the silence of what we used to be. You remembered everything except to love me. I watched you drift like autumn leaves. Your promises fell piece by piece. You used to look at me and smile. Now all you do is pass me by. I beg the sky to make you stay, but even stars just fade away. You forgot to love me somewhere between the lies and truth. You forgot to need me like I was never a part of you. Now I'm standing in the silence of what we used to be. You remember everything except to love me. Was I too much or not enough? You said forever was that bluff. I wrote your name in every prayer, but you forgot I was ever there. breathe. You forgot to see me while I was breaking underneath. Now I'm stronger in the silence than I ever thought I'd be. And I'll never let someone forget to love me. So goodbye to who you used to be, and the girl who begged you to love me. You left your coat and I let it hang by the door like you might come back again. Your voice still dances in this place like echoes I can't erase. I told myself I'd be okay, but I still reach out anyway. I held on longer than I should, loved you harder than you ever could. You walked away and I stayed, but still I wish you stayed. The clock keeps ticking, but nights are slow. Every silence screams what I won't show. Your coffee cup untouched, alone, like me waiting by the phone. I tell my heart it's just a phase, but every dawn feels like a maze. I held on longer than I should, loved you harder than you ever could. You walked away I stayed, but still I wish you stayed. I'm learning how to breathe without your name, but healing never feels the same. I smile but only halfway through, 'cause part of me still aches for you. I let go slower than the rain, but my tears still fall the same. You moved on like songs just fade, and still I wish you stayed. One day I'll forget this pain, but tonight I wish you stayed. I walk through halls we used to know. The lights still flicker soft and low. Your laughter lingers in the walls, but now there's silence when night falls. I touch the door you never closed, still waiting where the shadows froze. But I won't cry for echoes of before. No more reaching out to broken doors. You held my heart but not my hand, and I forgot where I could stand. Now I'm finding something more beyond the echoes of before. I wore the dress you said you loved, now it just hangs a ghost above. The mirror shows a gentler face who's done with chasing what won't stay. You were the storm I tried to calm, but some goodbyes are quiet songs. But I won't cry for echoes of before. No more reaching out to broken doors. the floor. You held my dreams in silent glass, but now I'm done reliving past. I've opened up a brighter door, no more echoes of before. I walk alone, but not afraid. Love lost, but peace has stayed. You always loved with careful hands, afraid to feel, afraid to stand. I gave you truth, you gave me doubt, and every whisper turned to shouts. I stayed through storms you wouldn't name, hoping love would light the flame. Why do you love me when I leave? When the silence is all I receive, you let me go to feel the pain, then beg for me in falling rain. Why do your tears fall when I'm gone? When I was breaking all along, you only see me when I grieve. Why do you love me when I leave? You spoke in promises too thin, each one a place I'd never been. I begged for something more than maybe, but maybe's where you always stay. I built a home you wouldn't keep, you shut the doors and watched me sleep. Why do you love me when I leave? When silence is all I receive, you let me go to feel the pain, then beg for me in falling rain. Why do your tears fall when I'm gone? When I was breaking all along, you only see me when I grieve. Why do you love me when I leave? Ooh, when I leave. Ooh, I needed someone who would fight, not one who runs and hides from light. But now I see the love I gave was more than you could ever brave. Now you love me as I fade, a shadow steal the past we made. I walked away to find my voice, and in that silence made my choice. So keep your sorry in the breeze. I'm done with loving on my knees. You only miss me when I bleed. Why did you love me when I leave? I'm not your echo anymore. This time I'm closing all my doors. I almost said your name last night, but the silence begged me not to fight. So I kept my heart inside my hands and watched it break when no one stands. You left your words on every page, but none of them knew how to stay. I read between the lines too long, now I know where I don't belong. You were the poem I never finished, the truth I whispered and you diminished. All that we could be got lost in what we didn't say. I was the song you left unwritten, the love you feared but never given. And now I walk away with words words I'll never get to say. Remembers what we hit, each promise sealed and then unlit. I held my breath for one more sign, but you let go before the climb. I stayed through echoes, stayed through doubt, while you just waited to walk out. You found escape, I found the truth, but it was never meant for two. You were the poem I never finished, the truth I whispered and you diminished. All that we could be got lost in what we didn't say. I was the song you left unwritten, the love you feared but never given. And now I walk away with words I'll never get to say. Stayed and held me right, but this chapter ends with just my name, and nothing in your hands remains. You were the poem I never finished, the ghost inside a love diminished. We wrote in silence, line by line, but never crossed the final rhyme. I was the song you left unwritten, and still my heart remains forgiven. I'll let the story fade to gray and keep the tears I didn't say. Left unwritten when not Maybe in another life you would have stayed and held me right, but this chapter ends with just my name, and nothing in your hands remains. I was the song you left unwritten, and still my heart remains forgiven. I'll let the story fade to gray and keep the tears I didn't say. Ooh, left unwritten, but not unloved. It never hurt the way I prayed when you were just a breath away. I traced your name on frosted glass, pretending time would never pass. You said love was something loud, but mine was whispered in the crowd. I held you close without a sound, while you kept chasing something proud. I loved you in the quiet when no one ever knew, where silence said forever, and I gave it all to you. You looked for fire and thunder, but missed the gentle truth. I loved you in the quiet and lost myself in you. You needed noise to feel alive, while I was drowning deep inside. You kissed like storms, then disappeared, and left your echo in my tears. I was the calm, the steady light. You were the star that burned too bright. You couldn't hear the way I stayed when every word you spoke betrayed. I loved you in the quiet when no one ever knew, where silence said forever, and I gave it all to you. You looked for fire and thunder, but missed the gentle truth. I loved you in the quiet and lost myself in you. You never saw the way I broke behind the smiles I never spoke, and now the silence holds your name, but I don't cry the same. I loved you in the quiet with everything I had, started breaking when it hurt too much to ask. Now you're chasing voices, but they don't sound like me. I loved you in the quiet, and that's where I set you free. In the hush of morning light, I let go without a fight. You never know what I went through, but I loved you in the quiet, and I'll never love like that again. You said I'll call when I know what to say, but the phone stayed quiet every day. I waited with the hope too loud. In a world where you don't come around, I read our texts like holy lines, trying to find a reason why. But silence screamed, wish you couldn't speak, and it tore the ground beneath my feet. When the silence answered you, I knew it answered me too. No more lies, no soft pretend, just the quiet truth in the end. You didn't say goodbye aloud, but your silence was too proud. So now I know it's true. You were gone when the silence answered you. I replayed your voice till the tape wore thin, hoping to feel you breathe again. But echoes don't replace the real, and ghosts don't care how I feel. The stars don't blink when hearts break slow, and time won't ask which way you'll go. But I still beg the midnight blue to give me one last piece of you. When the silence answered you, I knew it answered me too. No more lies, no soft pretend, just the quiet truth in the end. You didn't say goodbye aloud, but your silence was too proud. So now I know it's true. You were gone when the silence answered you. Maybe I deserve the final word, or maybe pain is what I earned. But it's the quiet that cuts deep, the things you never said to me. When the silence answered you, I finally heard the truth. It wasn't love, it wasn't fate, it was just too late. And I stood in that goodbye, now with tears but with dry eyes. You didn't have to choose, silence already spoke for you. So I'll whisper to the waves tonight, let them carry what we couldn't write. You disappeared without a clue, and I stayed when the silence answered you. You walked away, suitcase in hand, like all we were meant nothing in the end. I stood frozen at the door, wishing you'd turn just once more. But your eyes said everything before your mouth could lie, and I was left with silence where our future used to lie. I'm still holding the goodbye you whispered in the rain, still replaying every tear like a song stuck in my brain. You let go so easily, while I still bleed silently. You moved on with the sky. I'm still holding the goodbye, but that's still cold on your side. Your laugh still haunts the hall at night. I fold your shirt like it still means something more than memories. I beg the stars to bring you back, but wishes fade at dawn, and I'm left chasing shadows of someone long gone. I'm still holding the goodbye you whispered in the rain, still replaying every tear like a song stuck in my brain. You let go so easily, while I still bleed silently. You moved on with the sky. I'm still holding the goodbye. Maybe love was never fair, maybe loss was always there, but I gave you all of me, you gave me just despair. I'm still holding the goodbye that shattered my whole sky. Still breathing through the ache, still asking the empty why. You found peace in walking away, I found pain that wants to stay. You moved on, I can't deny, but I'm still holding the goodbye. And I'll keep holding till goodbye finally lets go of me. You said forever like a lullaby, then faded out without goodbye. I traced your voice in midnight rain, but found only shadows calling my name. I kept your words inside my chest, a melody that never rests. You left too soon, too fast, too cold, and now I'm dancing with the echo you sold. You left with your echo and I stayed with the sound of promises whispered, now buried underground. I held on to silence like it could bring you back, but every heartbeat just fades to black. You left with your echo, and all I have is that. You moved on like morning light, while I'm still lost in endless night. The songs we played still haunt my room, each note a wound I can't undo. I sing your name but it won't reply, just fades beneath the starless sky. You wrote the end and turned the page, while I'm still trapped inside this cage. You left with your echo and I stayed with the sound of promises whispered, now buried underground. I held on to silence like it could bring you back, but every heartbeat just fades to black. You left with your echo, and all I have is that. If love was a ghost, then you were mine, flickering like fire, then gone with time. But I still whisper to the air, pretending for a moment you're there. You left with your echo, I'm still chasing the tone of dreams that crumbled when you left me alone. I scream into silence but it won't scream back, just echoes of you in shades of black. You left with your echo, and I can't get back. You're gone, but your echo stays. But your echo stays. We stood on the flickering lights, your hands too cold, your smile too tight. You said we've reached the final page, but I was still inside the stage. You whispered maybe this is best, while I still wore your beating chest. You left me dancing with the dark, a love that only left a mark. I wanted more than goodbye, more than silence in your eyes. I needed reasons, I needed time. You gave me distance wrapped in lies. You turned and walked while I still tried. I wanted more than goodbye. You packed your words and closed the door. I begged for less pain, not more. I held on like it wasn't done. You slipped away like morning sun. Your shadow lingers in my sleep, in every promise you didn't keep. I screamed in thoughts I couldn't say. You faded like a film in gray. I wanted more than goodbye, more than silence in your eyes. I needed reasons, I needed time. You gave me distance wrapped in lies. You turned and walked while I still tried. I wanted more than goodbye. I won't chase your fading light, I won't beg to hold you tight. You left me broken, but I see I lost you long before you left me. I wanted more than goodbye, more than tears I had to hide. I needed closure, not this fight. You vanished like the morning tide. You said nothing, not even why. I wanted more than goodbye. Now I walk where we once stood, alone but free, and that feels good. I loved too much, but I survived. I wanted more, but I'm still alive. You said love fades, you said it's gone, but mine stayed long after you moved on. I kept your sweater, I wore your name, even when the silence grew like shame. You let go so easily, like we were just a memory. But every night I held on tight to pieces of you, a ghost in the light. I loved you longer than I ever said, held on in silence alone in my bed. You walked away while I stayed behind, still chasing dreams we left undefined. I loved you longer, longer than you'll ever know. I still recall your coffee smile, your voice like rain that stayed a while. But now it echoes soft and far, a wish on a faded shooting star. You made it look so effortless, while I'm still drowning in the mess of every song and every street that still remembers where we used to meet. I loved you longer than I ever said, held on in silence alone in my bed. You walked away while I stayed behind, still chasing dreams we left undefined. I loved you longer, longer than you'll ever know. And maybe someday you'll look back and see the one who loved you endlessly. But by then, I'll be long gone, a name in a song, a whisper at dawn. I loved you deeper than you ever guessed. Through all the heartbreak, I gave my best. You found your freedom, I found my pain, but I'd do it all over again. I loved you longer, longer than you'll ever know. Packed your words in a quiet sigh, left me drowning in the reasons why. No fight, no tears, just slipped away, a ghost in the light of yesterday. I kept my voice inside the storm, hoping silence might keep us warm. But nothing grows where love has died, only echoes we can't hide. And now there's only the silence after goodbye, the kind that lingers, the kind that cries. Your name still haunts the empty air, like you were here but never cared. I gave you all, you walked away, and left me with the words you wouldn't say. You used to trace my every scar, now I'm just space where your memories are. Your love was soft, then cold as stone. How did I end up loving alone? I kept pretending you still tried, but your eyes had already lied. We faded fast, then disappeared, like every vow we once held dear. And now there's only the silence after goodbye, the kind that lingers, the kind that cries. Your name still haunts the empty air, like you were here but never cared. I gave you all, you walked away, and left me with the words you wouldn't say. You used to trace my every scar, now I'm just space where your memories are. Your love was soft, then cold as stone. How did I end up loving alone? I gave you all, you walked away, and left me with the words you wouldn't say. I begged for moments you let go, held on too tight to a broken home. You closed the door, I watched it close, still whispering things I'll never know. And now there's only the silence after goodbye, where love once lived and dreams would lie. I stood my ground, I faced the night, but lost the will to hold the light. You left me here in yesterday, with all the love you threw away. No more tears to dignify, just the silence after goodbye. To call me every night, told me I made the darkness light. But lately silence takes your place, and I no longer see your face. I tried to hold on, I tried to stay, but your heart had slowly slipped away. You looked at me but saw right through, like I was just someone you once knew. When I was enough, you held me tight, said I was your only, your fire, your light. Now I'm a shadow of your love, fading fast, not strong enough. Tell me, was I ever truly loved, or only when I was enough? We built a world with whispered dreams, now I wake up to empty scenes. You said we write 1,000 songs, but now I hum them all alone. I waited long for your return, but love can't grow where it won't burn. You kissed me like a distant friend, a chapter closed before the end. When I was enough, you held me tight, said I was your only, your fire, your light. Now I'm a shadow of your love, fading fast, not strong enough. Tell still sleep on my side of the bed. Though you're gone, your voice stays in my head. You said forever with a quiet tone, then vanished like a ghost I'd never known. Every mirror shows your smile, though it's been a painful while. I reach for you in midnight's glow, but you're just someone I used to know. You left with your echo, still ringing soft and low. A whisper in the wind I chase, a touch I'll never face. I gave you all I could show. Now I'm left with your echo. I wear your sweater in the rain, pretending warmth can mask the pain. You promised skies, you gave me night. You were my wrong that once felt right. Now the clock ticks loud and slow, in the silence we used to go. I walk the rooms like they still speak, but your goodbye was far too bleak. You left with your echo, still ringing soft and low. A whisper in the wind I chase, a touch I'll never face. I gave you all I could show. Now I'm left with your echo. I wear your sweater in the rain, pretending warmth can mask the pain. You were the song I couldn't write, the fire that burned without the light. You left but parts of you remain in every soft September rain. You left with your echo, still ringing soft and low. A whisper in the wind I chase, a touch I'll never face. I gave you all I could show. Now I'm left with your echo. Maybe I'll forget your name, but the echo, it still sounds the same. Maybe I'll forget your name, but the echo, it still sounds the same. Ooh, 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 ooh. You left without a warning, like the wind that fades at night. I whispered all my prayers to the stars that lost their light. I still wear your memory like a dress, stitched with hope and tenderness. But I still believe in love, even when the sky won't clear. I still believe in us, though your voice is just a tear. Time may take your shadow, but it can't steal my dreams of a heart that still believes. The photographs are fading, but I see your eyes in mine. And every song that finds me feels like fate's secret sign. Time may take your shadow, but it can't steal my dreams of a heart that still believes. Ooh, 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 ooh. The photographs are fading, but I see your eyes in mine. And every song that finds me feels like fate's secret sign. I still feel you in the rain, dancing gently through the pain. Yes, I still believe in love, even when the world turns cold. I still believe in us, though your hand I'll never hold. Time may move without you, but my soul won't ever leave. A heart that still believes. The photographs are fading, even when the world turns cold. I still believe in us, though your voice is just a tear. Time may take your shadow, but it can't steal my dreams of a heart that still believes. Maybe we were meant to break, to learn how much a soul can take. But every crack in me still sings of you and all the love you bring. I still believe in love, though this silence softly grieves. I still believe in us, in the story no one sees. believes. You smiled like it meant something real, but I could tell by how you feel. You said we're fine, like it's a script, but your love's already slipped. I waited in the quiet nights for words that never came, and every touch just felt polite, no passion in your name. You said everything was fine, but you weren't. I say trying to fix what you wouldn't. I believe the lines you drew, but I was loving more than you. You said everything was fine, but you weren't. I held on while your heart let go, pretending not to know. You made me feel like I was wrong for holding on too long. You whispered with a hollow sound, like echoes in a hall. You kissed me but were breaking down. You built an unseen wall. You said everything was fine, but you weren't. I say trying to fix what you wouldn't. I believe the lines you drew, but I was loving more than you. You said everything was fine, but you weren't. And now I know pretending love is lonelier than letting go. The silent screams so loud at night, your heart left long ago. You said everything was fine, but you lied, and I kept dancing in your quiet goodbye. Now I'm done being blind, I deserve someone who tries. You said everything was fine, but I cried. And I won't fix the cracks you made, I'll find peace in my own way. Goodbye to all your quiet lies. This time I'll be fine. You turned your back like the story's done, but I still stood there facing the sun. No angry words, just empty space. Love left your eyes without a trace. You didn't ask me how I feel. You moved on like it's no big deal. But I stayed up through every night, trying to understand what wasn't right. And I knew deep in my soul the only way was letting go. Still I said goodbye, though it tore my heart in two. Still I walked away, even when I needed you. You were silent, I was loud, saying all the things I'm not allowed. Still I said goodbye, even though you never tried. I practiced lines I never say, in hopes you care enough to stay. But love should never beg or plead, so I gave you what you didn't need. You smiled like nothing broke apart, but I was bleeding from the start. Sometimes strong means letting go, even when it hurts you so. Still I said goodbye, though it tore my heart in two. Still I walked away, even when I needed you. You were silent, I was loud, saying all the things I'm not allowed. Oh, still I said goodbye, even though you never tried. The rain fell down, but I stood tall. A quiet end, no curtain call. You didn't love me, and that's why. Still I said goodbye. never say, in hopes you care enough to stay. But love should never beg or plead, so I gave you what you didn't need. You smiled like nothing broke apart, but I was bleeding from the start. Sometimes strong means letting go, even when it hurts you so. Still I said goodbye. With my hands not holding tight. Still I walked alone, fading softly into night. You just watched, didn't cry, but I knew it was time to fly. Still I said goodbye. You didn't say goodbye. I saw your smile in yesterday's sky, a fading light I still can't deny. We almost made it, almost tried, but timing's cruel and love passed us by. You held my hand like you meant forever, but forever was never ours to tether. I spoke in silence, you kissed in fear. Now all that's left is what's not here. We were almost, not quite. A fire dimmed before the night. All the dreams we built on air disappeared like they were never there. You were close but never mine, a love lost in between the lines. I replay scenes we never lived, the laughs, the tears we couldn't give. What we were was almost true, but almost doesn't carry you. I thought one day we'd find our way, but some goodbyes were meant to stay. No more pages left to write. We were a star that died mid-flight. We were almost not complete, dancing shadows in the heat. All the songs I sang for you now play alone in shades of blue. You were near but never stayed, a love the dawn could not persuade. I let go where the ocean roars. No more waiting at closed doors. In the echo I found peace, in what we were and couldn't be. We met in a moment, too soon or too late. Crossed paths on a road shaped by fate. I watched you smile with someone else, while I kept my love on a distant shelf.
These broken glances, afraid to try, hearts full of questions, never asked why. In another life, maybe we'd start, instead of drifting two worlds apart.
If time was kind, we'd still be near. Oh, I'd hold you close, erase the fear. No lonely nights, no silent cries, just you and me beneath the skies. But time, it wasn't side, and love just slipped between the tide. I picture your hand still touching mine, in a place where stars and hearts align. But wishes fall and stories end, and what if stays my oldest friend. Maybe love's not always fair, but I still feel you in the air. A memory I cannot rewind of us, if time had been more kind. If time was kind, you'd still be here. Oh, we danced through decades without fear. Oh, no missed hellos, no long goodbyes, just endless love and open skies. But all I have are dreams confined to what if time was kind. Love and open skies, but all I have are dreams confined to what if time was kind.